Welcome back to Arcane Answers. I'm your host, Lare, and joining me as always are the spelunking sisters Amanda and Sara. How you doing today?
We are doing well. How about yourself?
I'm good. I'm good. Not gonna lie, I had a couple takes at this, and it's throwing me off, but we're gonna soldier through it.
That's what happens when we do these things pre coffee.
Yeah, that's true. I've had one cup, and it's clearly not enough. For my section, if you're an occult nerd, you've probably heard or seen the internet and memes about Nazi bases in Antarctica. And I'm going to talk about where they come from. Now, are you guys familiar with Agartha?
I am not. I'm
No.
excited to hear more about these Nazi bases in Antarctica.
Well, I guess it's like a Nazi base, but I'll get to that. First, I got to take you back in time with a little. And now we're back in time to the 19th century where the French people, like, and I'm going to slaughter this, and I apologize to any of our French listeners. I don't think. Saint Ives d'Avedra. That doesn't sound French, but it is. He described a kingdom beneath the Himalayas governed by a synarchy. That sounds like snarky, but it's Synarchy, a perfect harmony of science and religion.
Ooh,
Yeah, right. It's pretty much Atlantis on land.
underground Atlantis.
Well, it was taken underground by another guy, I do believe. So no. At first, it was above ground by Louis Jacques during it's clearly not his name. Jacola. Maybe it is. I don't know. But there's this place called Asgartha, where he believed it was in a surface city in India, where the primordial seat of the Aryan civilization uh,
Oh,
claimed to be hailed from. So it's the origin of all the Norse people.
gotcha.
Yeah. Then we go underground in the same area in India where Saint Ives, we'll just call him that, took and placed it underground and said, okay, no. They're subterranean, super intelligent with lots of technology. And then
Oh,
finally, Ferdinand uh, Ossendowski, just after World War One, said, you know what? That exists, but there's a king of the world underneath there. And one day he will rise from Agartha and cleanse the world. So
wow.
very like-minded people took to that and said, well, clearly he's talking about uh, Nazi supremacy, I believe. And so the idea of the Nazi Agartha came from writers in like 1945. So after the war had ended, the Morning Magicians, that's 1960 actually, based 211 legend. So the rumors grew out in 1939 that there was this Antarctic mission to establish a secret base called New Berlin in the geothermal caverns of Antarctica, where Hitler supposedly escaped to.
All right.
Yeah. And then there's the esocentric Hitlerism that came out from like Miguel Serrano. He deified Hitler, claiming he was a Hyperborean and now residing in the subterranean Antarctic city. And then back in the 60s, there was a book called The Morning of the Magicians. It was a bestseller and it popularized the idea of the Vril Society, where they were kind of in contact with like the occult. And they were. That literally was a thing. But this is more myth making. And they also believe that the Nazis had UFOs. So
Wow. It's a lot. This is a lot. Yeah, it's like throw the spaghetti at the wall and see what sticks.
it is, but like if you think about like the advanced technology from Agartha, and then the Nazis get UFOs, and then like Operation High Jump comes in 1947, where Admiral Byrd goes down there and he loses. aircraft and he returns early and they're like, "Oh, he did that because he encountered Nazi flying discs defending their secret base."
Absolutely. That's the most
And then
logical explanation.
so there's the secret bird journals, BYRD, claiming that he flew into the Hollow Earth at the polar opening, met advanced beings, and then was chased out by Nazis and spaceships.
So it's like Jules Verne mashup with a Temu Atlantis
Mhm,
and
mhm.
Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Yes, very much so. And, yeah, in the 80s, 70s, and 80s, Ernst Zundel popularized these stories to sell books and exploration seats to Antarctica to find the polar
Solid.
entrance.
That is a
Yeah,
solid marketing strategy.
it's like, "You really want to find out? I have a ship, there's seats on it. I'll take you down there right now, man. We find it."
We'll find it.
Yeah, sehr toll. Okay, so to separate a little bit of fact from fiction, Nazis like Henrik Himmler were obsessed with lost Aryan knowledge, and they did have like a real belief in the occult. But they had actual missions to Antarctica, but they were for whaling, like for soap and oil and other wartime needs. So it wasn't as cool as UFOs. And, screw the Nazis for whaling
Oh, poor
as well
whales.
as
Yeah.
everything else they did. Ernst Schaffer, he led an expedition to Tibet to study flora and fauna, not find hidden bases. And then Rolf Hohn believed that there was a hollow earth, and he started searching for the mystic gateways in alpine caves.
Wow.
I think that the reason that it's so popular is because the idea, like Atlantis, of being a technological advanced utopian refuge
Mhm.
is it gives you that idea of an escape from our modern problems. Like, man, there's a place where there's no war and I guess Nazis, but other than that, there's no war and it's
Besides
awesome
that,
down
it's
there.
cool.
And all the people there, the place is pretty great.
Yeah. I hear they use terms like Ubermensch.
I feel like ideas like that can be very dangerous though, especially as in modern day society, we're kind of sliding rapidly towards this sort of techno fascism where you've got, surveillance everywhere and mass data collection. So this idea that
Mhm.
like technology can fuel this utopia can kind of be a slippery slope, especially when you're merging it with nationalistic and
Oh, for
racial
sure.
identity ideals.
Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
yeah,
Nice
like,
try, Peter Thiel.
We're on to you, buddy.
I mean, there was this, thing called the Die Glocke,
Mhm.
which is the bell, and it was supposed to be an anti-gravity machine, a cult machine, that the Nazis had, and so there's pictures online that you can find of it, but I don't know if it's, like, Weekly World News style Photoshop, but
Well, we know the US government had some wonky flying machines too, so
Mhm.
but that's all I have for today. Amanda, I'm gonna kick it over to you.
all right, well, thank you. That was a fun little adventure. So I went with the historical ultimate siege defenders at Cappadocia, Turkey, in the city of Derinkuyu. So this is an insane 18 level underground city. It extends at least 280 feet down. Only 8 or 9, though, are still open to the public. The city underneath spans 1.5 square miles and is fed air through a series of thousands of air ducts.
Wow.
Yeah, and the air ducts also bring down fresh water into the city. So or air shafts, I guess. So this place is just
That's well constructed.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's phenomenal, and it was not built at one time. But in order to understand, like, what we're looking at, I need to describe the geology of the area because this would probably not be a feasible concept in, say, somewhere like Oklahoma where the dirt is all clay, and
Yeah.
it would
Mhm.
if you could get through it, it would fill with water the first time we had floods. So,
Yeah.
Mhm.
That's what I was wondering about, like, those shafts you're talking about, like, weren't people just wandering around falling into them?
I'm pretty sure that most of the missing people in Turkey can probably be explained by falling into one of these, yes.
They
But
just didn't mention, like, there was a huge pile of bones at the bottom of one shaft.
right, right. And they're fairly so they're of varying sizes and trajectories. So I think part of that might help because they had to keep it hidden. And all of the air shafts could be closed from the inside to defend against an assault from above.
Mhm.
But anyway, so back to the geology. So this region was formed by deep layers of volcanic ash that just kind of fell year after year for probably, millions of years. And this turned into soft porous rock called tuff.
Mm.
So the tuff was later then covered by a harder basalt crust. And so if have you ever seen the fairy chimneys? They look like little mushroom.
Mhm.
Okay, so those, were from erosion. So you have the tuft underneath and then, erosion comes in and creates these towers, and then the little cap on top is the remains of the basalt that covered that before. So
Oh,
the height
interesting.
Yeah, so the height of those, fairy chimneys are the original, depth of the volcanic ash before erosion came in and kinda leveled it out.
Hmm.
Mhm.
So anyway, so super soft underneath, super hard on top. And then there is some debate about when people actually started digging these underground structures, but the Phrygians in the 8th century BC are the most commonly credited people. Um,
Mhm.
at the very least, they took it to the next level if the Hittites were the ones that originated this idea. So, um, the top level was reserved for livestock. And that was because it cut down on the noxious fumes, they could use it as kind of meat insulation for the floors beneath.
Mhm.
Um, then archaeologists have also been able to identify a winery, church, schoolrooms, communal kitchens, and storerooms for supplies. So you could hole up in this place for months, like as long as your supplies lasted, because you're getting fresh air, you're getting fresh water. There's some places with light coming down.
Mhm.
And then on the 3rd floor, if that wasn't enough, there is a 5-mile tunnel that connects to another underground city to the north called Kaimekli.
Wow, so they could
Wow.
escape.
Correct. And so basically around the 4th century CE, early Christians started using Derinkuyu as a refuge. I'm going to redo that, okay?
Mhm.
Okay. So around the 4th century CE, early Christians started using Derinkuyu as a refugee during the Byzantine Empire and expanded it, like to the point where it's estimated the city could hold 20,000 people now. Um,
Wow.
yeah, and it was primarily used for crisis, not somewhere like you wouldn't live there all the time, preferably. I mean, it's cavernous,
There's that one guy that does.
right? Well, I mean, and it's
See you guys
cavernous,
next time.
but it's still claustrophobic. Like we're not necessarily meant to be underground mole people.
Well, there might be some short guy named Spelunker Pete.
Well, these
Oh, yeah.
they're not tight. Like, it would be if you didn't know you were 200 feet underground, it would feel spacious. Like, you can stand up, you're not cramped down, you're not you've seen some of those tunnels where you're just, like, claustrophobic just looking at it. It doesn't give that vibe at
Yeah.
all.
I went
Uh-huh.
to Carlsbad Caverns and, took the elevator down because 'cause I'm lazy,
Mhm.
and,
Or
you're like, what is that, 700 feet underground?
Yeah, too
Is
many.
that right?
yeah.
I'm not sure, I've never been, but I wanna
I don't
go.
know.
You really should. It's amazing, but you don't feel claustrophobic under there.
Yeah, and this kinda gave the same vibe, and they were able to do torches, because the air shafts were so advanced that they were getting constant fresh air. In fact, as late as, like, probably the '80s, possibly even today. I don't really know the laws in Turkey,
Mhm.
but definitely at one point since the underground city was rediscovered in 1967, um, they would allow you to smoke at the bottom floor so you could watch the smoke go back up the air shafts.
Oh, wow, that's cool.
Wow.
I'm
And
looking at this place on discovery.com,
yeah.
and it is incredible.
Yes.
Like, I know that they've done some, like, modern renovations to keep it from killing you and falling in, but, like, it's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and the craziest part of this is that this city was in use to some degree until 1923. So,
Wow.
yeah. So the Greco-Turkish War, once it came to an end, the Turks kicked all of the Greek Catholics out, and Greece kicked all of the Turkish Muslims out. So they basically had a massive population swap. And since the Orthodox Greeks were pretty much the only ones using the underground city,
Mhm.
people kind of just forgot about it. Like the whole city had built above it. It wasn't something people used. And so it kind of just, I don't know, people just forgot about it. And
Mhm.
then in 1967, some guy's doing this home renovation and knocks down a wall and is like, what is going on the other side? Turns out his house is connected to it. And not only was his, but they're finding more and more and more entryways into the city so that people could just drop down essentially in cases times of crisis.
I like to think that him and his neighbor discover this together and be like, "Damn it, Carl, why are you tunneling into my
I
house?"
would never tell anyone. I'd be like, "Come check out my house."
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's freaking huge.
Yeah, but yeah, definitely, like, they are the siege defenders.
Go play in the basement.
And the fact that
Yeah.
the whole of Turkey underneath is just riddled with these ant
So there's
colony-like
more
cities. Yeah.
do you think there's more of them then?
Yeah.
I didn't
They
catch
know there's
that.
more. Yeah. They know there's more.
Wow. So do you think that there's an excavation process that needs to happen to discover more, or they're just not discovered yet?
No, they've already discovered more. I mean,
Yeah, no.
Quebec and, Derinkuyu are the most well-known, but there's a
Mhm.
bunch of little ones because, I mean, if you think about it, that whole area was just continuously the focal point of just war after war after war. And so the people there eventually were just like, "I am tired of being slaughtered in the night.
Mhm.
Let's stop sleeping above ground." You know what I mean? And so,
Mhm.
I mean, I can just imagine, kid turns 10 years old, you hand him a chisel and you're like, "All right, it's time to go carve your new room. You're getting on my nerves."
That's awesome.
And that's how you give what, third or 3,000 years of that and you got a mile and a half of underground city built.
Yeah.
Wow, yeah.
So,
That's really cool.
yeah, yeah. So that's all I have today, but I really wanted to share that because I thought it was absolutely fascinating. Sarah?
All right. So, sorry, I'm stretching. Ooh. Okay. So, I'm going to take you to Europe. So in Europe, they have found what they refer to as Erdstall.
Mhm.
And loosely translated, that translates to stable earth.
Mm.
So this is a system of tunnels that is made up of very narrow tunnels. So, like, you can't stand up. You either have to hunch over, or in some cases, like army crawl through the tunnels. Uh, and they've all been carved smoothly. Um, some of them have what are called slip out passages,
Mhm.
which are very small passages that slope downward. And again, those are the really, really, really narrow ones that you kind of just catapult yourself down, like one of those
No.
enclosed tube slides,
I'm not
but
doing
smaller.
that. No. Mm-mm.
Yeah. So the origin of this is completely unknown. They haven't been able to accurately carbon date anything because there's
Rock.
no materials found inside, no artifacts, no plant matter, no bones, no anything in these tunnels.
And they're sure it's not man-made, or it's man-made and not natural?
I believe so due to the carving patterns. Yes, yes.
Mm.
So it's believed that these may date back to the Middle Ages, but thus far they've found about 2,000 tunnels under Europe, and they're not all connected. Actually, it's like 2,000 individual tunnels, or little, systems.
Could they have been used for, like, grain storage and things like that?
They could have, but don't you think that they would have found even a piece of grain?
Oh, that's a good point.
Yeah. If it was food storage, and that person dies,
Mhm.
wouldn't you think that they'd also find their food storage that nobody knew about?
Or some sort of structure that held it, that makes
Right.
sense.
Right. So thus far, the concentration has been in Bavaria. They found about 700 there and about 500 in Austria. But also been found in Great Britain and in France. So there is four different types of these Erdstalls. Type A is it's a long room at the center with spokes coming off of it into smaller halls that slightly slopes downwards. So again, I need to stress the fact that you cannot stand up in these.
Yeah.
They are tiny. The type B is a multi-level. They have those slip passages in them. So
Mhm.
those, either very straight vertical slip passages or very sloped passages. They work as a transition from higher to lower levels. They have what looks like seats that have actually been carved into the walls.
Are they tiny seats?
They are,
Mm.
as well as carvings on the walls that look like they were used to hang lanterns. Let's see, type C has the slip out passage that runs parallel with a circular passage uh, that stands alone by itself. The circular passages are the only ones they found that are tall enough for you to stand up in.
So it's Fraggle Rock.
It's been a hot minute since I've seen Fraggle Rock.
Oh, no. I would say Derinkuyu is more Fraggle Rock. This is like claustrophobic nightmare, desperation,
No, the
escape.
Fraggles were little, remember? Like, they're only, like, a couple feet high?
Oh, I see. For them,
Well,
I understand.
and I understand though that medieval people were smaller than modern day people, but right here is a picture of a kid who looks like he's stuck in it, and that just makes
Oh,
me
yeah, that's
cringe.
creepy.
Yeah.
I I hate it.
So the fourth type is type D. It's a multi-level chambers that are all connected with small passages.
Oh, yeah, that totally looks man-made. If you guys didn't
Yeah,
hear
it does.
Yeah,
it
that's human made. That's not an animal.
yeah,
Yeah,
it's
it's
Erdstall
wild.
tunnels, if you Google that, you get some crazy stuff.
Mhm. So where are these tunnels found? So they haven't been able to find a rhyme or reason for where these are placed or why.
Mhm.
They have been found in basements of farmhouses. They have been found near or directly under historical churches and cemeteries, just under like a town square, just built on top of it, and they find this tunnel. There's also been some that have been found in just remote wood areas.
They're so tiny, but,
Yeah,
like, intricately carved. It's crazy.
yeah, it's really weird. So the theories, and mind you, nothing has been found in these tunnels. So the theories on this is like a ritualistic or spiritual place.
Mhm.
Again, if it was used for like animal sacrifices or something along those lines, they're not finding any blood in there. They're not finding bones. They're not finding anything.
Yeah.
Hiding places like what Amanda covered. So, escape routes.
Mhm.
Another fascinating thing about these structures that I forgot to mention earlier is they only have one entrance and exit. So there's one hole in, one hole out.
But it's like a maze to back to the entrance because it's all circular, right?
No, they're not all circular.
Oh.
Some of them are, others are like a long hall with spokes coming off of it.
Oh, see, like, I thought if they were escape tunnels, right? It makes sense. They're small, your pursuers are slowed down, and you're just like, commando crawling through this tunnel as fast as you can, then you slip down one of those escape routes and come back around and you leave them and they get lost in the maze.
No, no. That is I can understand where you're coming from there, but no, some of them are just, one long hall with 3 long halls coming off of them.
Man, the more I look at these photos, the more I think no thank you.
Absolutely, I thought no thank you the entire time. So, one of the most popular theories is hiding places or escape routes, um, which again doesn't make sense due to that in and out situation.
Mhm.
Larry, like you said, food storage. But again, we've squashed that. There's been no scraps of food or any indication that that's where, people stored their food. It would make sense though, because underground seems to be cooler. So that would make sense for storing food. But
Mhm.
my personal favorite theory on this is there was no light creatures
Mhm.
and those were their dwellings. But the upground people wiped them out.
I like that theory.
I do too. That's my favorite one out of them all. But to date, they still are unable to say exactly when or why these were built. So
Yeah,
that's
And that is weird. That's
that is
wild,
super
man.
fascinating.
yeah, yeah. But claustrophobia nightmare.
Absolutely. Well, that seems like it's all the time we have for this month. Join us next month when we talk about
The Denver
Amanda.
airport.
Deep
That's right.
dive.
Yeah, we're all doing the Denver airport. Bye.
Bye.